Did you know that psychological studies have shown that you have the power to impact other people's self-confidence, behavior, even success in the world with your thoughts? And they have the power to do the same to you. Now, it sounds woo-woo, but it's not. And with this simple understanding that you can implement right now, you'll be able to empower everyone around you and set it up so that your greatness is supported as well. What is up, you amazing human? My name is Ben Hart. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing a secret to reaching your potential that you can also use to help others reach theirs. If you dig the content I'm about to share and want to see more in the future, hit the subscribe button below. And if there's people out there in the world you think might benefit from this video, hit the like button, leave a comment. It'll help them find it. All right, so this secret I'm going to share with you, this is comes from psychological studies that have been done and has made a huge difference in my life, certainly over the last 10 years or so. It's something I put into practice all the time in my life, with my friends, with people I want to impact in the world and positively. And so I'm going to share with you the psychological studies that it's based on, then we'll go deeper into how you can implement that in your life. So what was done a number of years ago, this psychologist named Rosenthal went into some schools and at the beginning of a school year, and he basically had some sort of a IQ test done with students who were just entering a new class with a new teacher. And so he had them all take these tests, and then what he did is he went to the teacher and he said, this group of students perform really well. These are the ones who are most intelligent. These are the ones who are most likely to make great progress this year, and this other group, not so much. The key to this study, though, is that the groups, how he grouped those students, was not based on the test results at all. It was completely random. So it wasn't as if he was actually saying the people who perform best in the test are the most intelligent. He was actually just saying, hey, this group, to the teacher, hey, this group's the best, this group's not going to perform as well, have at it. And what he did is he then monitored things over the year, and then at the end of the year gave tests again. And what they found was that the expectation that he put in the teacher's mind about those students dramatically impacted their success over the year and their final test results and the progress they made and how they were able to perform. And so from this, what he created was this idea that's now known as the Pygmalion effect. And so in this case of the student and the teacher, you can imagine how, he says to his teacher, these are the students that are going to perform the best. These are the students who are most intelligent. That creates a thought in that teacher's mind, that creates beliefs about those students versus the other group in that teacher's mind that then impacts her behavior with those students. So she may teach them in a different way. She may encourage them in a different way. She may criticize the different groups in different ways. There's so many different ways that her beliefs about who those groups are and their intelligence levels and their capacity and potential will then impact how she relates to them, how she teaches them. The idea then, the Pygmalion effect, is the teacher's beliefs impact her behavior with those students, which then impacts the students' beliefs about themselves. So depending on how the student is relating to them, those students begin to create beliefs about, oh, I must not be intelligent, or, oh, I must not be capable, or, oh, I must be really capable. I must be this must be something that I should totally be able to do, or, oh, I'm so encouraged right now. This must mean something about me and my capacity. So the students' beliefs that are then formed from the teacher's behavior then creates different behaviors for the students. So they begin to form these new beliefs about themselves, or beliefs that are going in one direction or the other, and their behavior then changes. Their ability to succeed or not succeed changes. Their ability to show up for challenges changes or doesn't change. And it's this virtuous cycle where then their behavior, the student's behavior and response, then further solidifies the teacher's beliefs about them. So the teacher believes something, she behaves in a certain way because of those beliefs, which impacts how the students think about themselves, which impacts the student's behavior, which then further reinforces this teacher's thoughts about that person. And so it's this, potentially virtuous cycle that, if she has a high beliefs about someone, it can, have the student perform much better, or it can be a downward spiral. And so the Pygmalion effect, which is, a part of any relationship you're in, is hugely important to understand because it can change the way that we relate to others and the way that we empower others and the way that others relate to us and empower us. So, for example, if you have a friend who you are holding low expectations of, that's going to change the way that you relate to them. It's going to impact the way that you think about them, obviously, and then it's going to change the way that you relate to them, the way that you encourage them. You might be less believing in what their capacity is. You might be less like really saying gung ho, go for it, go for it. There's so many different ways that having a low expectation of your friend will impact the way that you behave with them, which will then impact their beliefs about themselves and their behaviors, and just further in that cycle. Likewise, if there's someone in your life that you just think is the frickin' bomb, that you just think is amazing, and you're just constantly affirming that for them, that's a belief that you have that's changing the way that you relate to them, that's impacting the way you relate in a really positive way, in a really encouraging way, in a really complimentary way, whatever the case may be. That helps install that belief in that for themselves even more, which then impacts their success and their behavior and all of it. So it's just this continual cycle for the positive or the negative. And so what I want to encourage us all to do is to be aware of this. Be aware of the thoughts you're having about other people. Be aware of the expectations you're holding of other people, and see if you can hold a higher vision. Not from the place of being, out of reality, and not from the place of putting on like really high expectations that they can't meet, but from the place of seeing the greatness in other people and believing in their capacity to be more and to expand into more of what you see as possible for them. So, it is unique to each person in the sense of you want to be honed in on who that person is, who is that friend, who is that partner of yours, who is that colleague of yours, and have a unique vision for them that's related to who you know them to be, and what's the next level of what you think is possible for them, or who can you see them as, and how can you see what their greatness is right now, and just continually encourage that in your mind, continually solidify those beliefs about their capacity, about their abilities, about their greatness, about their love and compassion and genius and all of it. Because the more you can dwell in that in your thoughts about someone else, the more it's going to change the way you relate to them, and the more it's going to solidify that way of being for them. So, one of the ways that this can be put in place is like when I was first thinking about this years ago, some of my best friends in the world, so some of my closest male friends, we were all in a men's group together. And we actually decided to very explicitly start naming, obviously we support each other with challenge and with telling each other when we're not doing well and making sure that we're showing up in our lives in a good way. So this isn't about wiping out the negative and saying it's not there. It's not about just being overly optimistic or overly positive. It's about holding people accountable, especially your loved ones and your closest, friends and family. You can be real. You can hold people accountable to showing up as more. But that accountability is coming from a place of having a high expectation for them, believing that so much is possible for them, seeing their greatness. And so as my men's group, we would, challenge each other and give each other feedback and reflection, but all through it, we were holding really high expectations of each other and continue to. And we would actually name some of those, like name the vision we're holding for each other of who we can be, what our lives can be, what we're capable of, and continually talk about it and affirm it for each other. What we see as each other's genius, what we see as each other's capacity, what we see for each other's lives. And make it more real and rich in our own minds such that it changes the way we relate and also affirms for that person, oh yeah, this is who I am, this is what I'm capable of, further solidifying their beliefs, which then change their behavior. So there's a lot there, but I think what's most important to see is that, this can go in either direction, positive or negative. And I think it's really important with everyone you're in a relationship with to take responsibility for the thoughts you're having about them and notice when you're having, less than affirming, less than empowering thoughts. And maybe there's a place there where you have feedback for them, or you have, something you want to reflect to them that's important, that would have you be more authentic. But maybe it's just something you're like kind of in a rut with. Maybe it's just like kind of the gear you're in with them that you can up level, that you can hold a higher expectation, you can hold a higher belief that will impact the entire relationship. So that's how you empower other people. For yourself, I think it's really important to talk about this with the people in your lives. As I mentioned with my men's group, we created this virtuous cycle with each other where I was thinking highly of them, and I was talking about that, and it was relating to my behavior, and that was impacting them, and they were doing the same for me. And so, the way I choose people for my life, the way I've chosen my friends, my community, is I'm only surrounded by people who think I'm amazing. I'm surrounded by people who also give it to me straight and will be honest with me and will challenge me immensely. But it's from the place of thinking I'm great, thinking I'm awesome, seeing what I'm capable of, and believing in it. And so, my fiance and my closest friends and, the community and even my family, like I've created relationships where I am seen in my highest, and therefore I'm related to in my highest, and therefore I believe it more and more, and then my behavior matches that. So start the conversations with people in your life, especially if there are people that you feel like aren't relating to you in your greatness. Maybe there's things they need to tell you that would be actually supportive, that would be hard to hear, but would be supportive to your greatness. And you're actually not taking in, they are seeing you in your greatness. They just have, important feedback for you. Or maybe there are people in your life who just aren't capable of seeing that, who aren't going to hold you in the highest, who, they talk about like in personal growth a lot, like let go of the negative relationships in your life, like surround yourself with positivity. And this is related to that, Certainly there are times when folks aren't holding a high vision of themselves, aren't holding a high vision of life, aren't holding a high vision of anyone around them. And that can be super impactful on you. That can create a downward spiral in this way with the Pygmalion effect for you and your beliefs about yourself. So if there are relationships like that for you right now, I think it's really important to have clear conversations, around what you want, around how you want to support each other. You holding a high expectation for them will support them in being able to hold a high expectation for you. So go through that journey, see if it's possible for you both to up-level that relationship. And sometimes it will be, and it'll be a breakthrough, and that will be wonderful. And you can go on that upward spiral together. And sometimes it might be time to let go of those relationships. But the most important part of all of this is just being aware of that impact, being aware that your thoughts impact your behavior with others. Your thoughts about others impact your behavior with others, which impact how they think about themselves, which impact their behavior, and around, and for you as well. And so take responsibility for the thoughts you're having about others. See how you can see their greatness more, how you can hold their highest potential more, and you can think about it, how you can behave in a way, you can relate to them in a way that is in support of that, and you can create relationships for yourself where everyone is holding your highest, everyone is seeing your greatness and relating to you in that way as well. All right, my friend, I hope that was helpful. The Pygmalion effect. It's a thing, and it's not woo-woo. Your thoughts are impacting everyone around you, and everyone else's around you's thoughts are impacting you. And certainly, we can create sovereignty from that. We can become strong enough in our own thoughts that, other people having negative thoughts about us and behaving in a way that relates to us as if we're something less than we actually are won't impact us as much. But it's really important to be aware of when that's happening and, hold fast to your belief in yourself and surround yourself with people who will just allow you to relax and be held in your greatness. So I hope that's supportive for you, my friend. If you dig the content I just shared, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below. And again, if there's anybody out there in the world you think would benefit from this video, hit the like button, leave a comment. It'll help them find it. Until next time, I'm Ben Hart. Much love.